Here we are once again with another Battlebots review. Not going to waste any time. Thanks again so much for the support. Let's get straight into this. Now we get another short but sweet Chris and Kenny intro. You know, they name dropped the XFL, which shocked me. And damn it, guys, you could have told me that kill saws are only legal in Battlebots. That would have made the family reunion a little less awkward. Anyway, then the fight card was shown, and man, there are some good fights and one interesting fight. I don't think I need to tell you which one is the odd one out. And in the first fight, we got Jackpot versus Malice. Malice was coming in with Rolling Blackout, and Jackpot had the anti-horizontal wedge, which I believe is brand new for the robot. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this was an amazing opener. These two robots really brought out the best in each other. Jackpot and Malice kept exchanging blows. Sure, Jackpot was getting the better of Malice, but Malice was no slouch either. There was just lots of notable hits, including one which broke one of the lights. Like, that was really impressive. And the weapons stayed reliable. One thing that we see all too often with spinners hitting each other is that one burns out really quickly because of a pretty nasty hit. But these two kept on going. Malice was surprisingly reliable, and Jackpot's weapon only really burnt out right at the very end when it won the match. All things considered, I'm going to give this fight 4 stars. This was probably one of the best fights we're going to ever see from these two. This was really good. It was a competitive display from both robots, and I had fun watching it. Now we move on to Ribbot versus Overhaul. Now, to give Chris and Kenny a little bit of flack, I've got to imagine there's more going on with the drive of Overhaul than just that they made the wheels bigger. Overhaul does look a little bit similar, but it does look like they've made some substantial changes to the robot's drive. So, I'm not that fussed. I don't expect them to get into the details of that. That's more for Pete Abramson. But yeah, just a nitpick. I also love the decorations of Ribbot, making it look a little bit Overhaul-esque. That was a cute little touch, really. I wish I could be positive about the fight, but it was nothing, really. They came in, Ribbot came in with that horizontal spinner, smacked Overhaul a few times, and Overhaul was dead. I'm going to give this fight 1.5 stars. It was very little. Ribbot did well, no, I can never really complain about Ribbot, but Overhaul died way too quickly. This was hardly the ground return that I think the team was hoping for, and yeah, there wasn't really much to say. Definitely one that you can easily miss. Next up, we got Orbi Blade versus Scorpios, which I knew was going to be tough for Team Orbi because Scorpios is already an incredibly tough robot, and when Pete Abramson explained that the fronts had been welded together after its match with Tombstone, to be honest, Blade is no Tombstone, so I knew this was going to be extremely difficult, and it was a squash. Scorpios endured every hit that Blade gave, and was just relentless. That weapon is so powerful. It ripped chunks out of the armor. It pushed Team Blade around. It pushed Blade around. It just didn't stand a chance. Scorpios was dominant. I'm going to give this fight about 2.5 stars. I would have given it more, but this fight went on a little bit too long for my taste. But Scorpios was very impressive in this one. The fact that the weapon can just so easily tear chunks out of their opponents while enduring just fine, that's impressive. So yeah. Oh man, here's the elephant in the room. Tombstone versus Mammoth. I've heard people talk about this one. This one definitely got some eyebrows raised. I mean, Mammoth has done well. Has it done Tombstone well? Keep in mind, yeah, some people dunk on Tombstone because it doesn't do as well as it did before. But it's still a robot that's so feared. It's a robot that will do surprising amounts of damage to you, no matter if you win or lose. It's a former champion, for goodness sake. It almost feels like Mammoth was given to Tombstone, almost like supposed to be fodder, but of course I don't know the behind the scenes, so this could just be a case where they just felt this would be a interesting matchup, or it was just completely random. But I'm gonna have to give this fight 1.5 stars. Let me explain. When I give, say, Jackpot and Malice 4 stars, that is because for me, when I look at those robots, I look at what they did, that to me was that was 4 stars for them. Like, they were brilliant. Like, way better than I expected them to be. Tombstone and Mammoth are 2 robots who are so entertaining, so consistently entertaining. I love both of these robots, and I know that they can have some incredible matches. I just felt like this was a bit of a letdown. I was hoping that, there'd either be a shock win for Mammoth, or, the more likely result, Tombstone would rip Mammoth into like 50 different pieces all across the arena. Unfortunately, there was like 3 hits, maybe 4, and both robots died. It's not often that we seem to get a dual incapacitation. I think that's what they called it. Which means that then they have to go to the judges. But like, I don't know, it just seemed like a major letdown that the fight ended so quickly. The hits were great, which is I am giving it an extra 0.5 star. Tombstone is still just as powerful, just as devastating as ever, so definitely deserved the win. I just wish there was more. I expect more from both of these robots. Next up, we got Lucky versus Tantrum. Now, this fight I knew had the makings of something that could be really good. Tantrum, always entertaining. Tantrum has been very entertaining as of late, and Lucky, when it's working right, it can be incredible. And I felt so, lucky, because this fight was stupendous. Absolutely brilliant display from Lucky early on in the fight, throwing Tantrum about, and I was a little worried that this fight was going to end on a bad note. Don't get me wrong, I'd be happy if Lucky won, but I didn't want the fight to end that quickly. Thankfully, Lucky came in and put Tantrum down, though maybe it wasn't the best tactical decision, as Lucky was then systematically destroyed by Tantrum. It's a bit of a shame, really. Lucky definitely had it in the early goings, but I'm going to give this fight 3.5 stars. I wanted to give it 4, but I have a feeling that they could do even better than this. But this was an amazing fight. Lucky was amazing in the beginning. Tantrum was amazing at the end. It was a great showcase of both robots, in my opinion. I had fun watching this one. This was brilliant. Next up, we got a hype video about the main event between SawBlaze and MadCatter. And I gotta say, while this one didn't hype me, it had me extremely curious to see how this one would go. Because these are 2 very different teams. You've got the more serious, calculated SawBlaze versus the more mad, eccentric, MadCatter. And yeah, the hype video did leave me interested to see how this would go. Now, before we even get into this next fight of Glitch versus Ghost Raptor, I gotta say, great sportsmanship by Chuck Pizza by helping the Glitch team get ready so that they can have this fight. I love stuff like that. It just shows how the community, it can be really great. Now we get into the actual fight though, and it wasn't as good. I'm gonna say something that's gonna seem really damning about this fight, but this seems like one of those fights where Battlebots would have uploaded it back in the day and you just got the raw audio with no commentary. You know those fights, right? The ones where they're still okay, but they clearly weren't that great. I'm gonna give this one 2 stars. It had its moments right at the beginning and right at the end, but that was coupled with, those bookmarks have a lot of just the robots not being able to do much of anything. Ghost Raptor did a bit of pushing at times, and Glitch kind of just floundered around. In fact, another criticism I have is, this is probably the first time with the judges where I really don't understand where the decision came for this. Sure, Glitch had some moments where it got some attacking in, but I don't know, I didn't see much control or aggression from them compared to, say, Ghost Raptor. That's just me. I feel like Ghost Raptor had this one if I was to be a judge in this, but yeah, that's just me. This wasn't exactly an exciting fight. Like I said, beginning and end were good, rest wasn't. So, 2 stars. Then we got another video on Martin Mason of MadCatter. You know, it just kind of went over him briefly, you know, people's talking about how crazy, like, the Macho Man-esque, you know, Hulk Hogan, you know, 80s WWE promo style is. You know, it talked about him as a person, you know, being a teacher and whatnot. It was a fun little thing, you know, it wasn't taking itself that seriously, but it was a nice look into Martin. Yeah, not much to say, it was just kind of fun and entertaining. And I hope that pizza order was real. I don't think it was, but I like to imagine that some poor, like, Domino's or Pizza Hut employee was just so confused on the other end of that line. So we get into the bonus fight for this week, and it's Retrograde versus Rampage. Oh, I feel bad, but this is the first time that we're really seeing, yeah, I can see why this isn't on the episode. I'm gonna have to give this one 1 star. It just ended far too quickly. It looks like something went wrong with Rampage, because that robot definitely looks like it should be invertible, so I'm not sure what happened there. It got tipped over, and it was just done. That was about it. Retrograde did rip a wheel off with that undercutter, so, you know, that was good. It showed what Retrograde was capable of, but there just wasn't really anything. This was kind of a dud match, to be honest with you. Definitely one of the weakest matches so far. Nothing against these robots, just not a great performance. And now for the main event, SawBlaze versus MadCatter, and this was way better than I expected. Don't get me wrong, I knew that these 2 robots were capable of good things, in fact great things, but I felt this was going to be a weird match. But this was brilliant. 4 stars right out of the gate. I do wish we got to see a little bit more from MadCatter, but it just couldn't stand a chance. But the great thing is, much like in the SawBlaze versus Minotaur match, while Minotaur was quickly taken pretty much out of commission, at least weapons-wise, you know, SawBlaze is so entertaining that it really didn't matter. SawBlaze was shoving MadCatter all around the box, taking full control. That weapon did some mighty damage. In fact, just MadCatter was decimated. Their mini-bot was blowing smoke all around the arena. This fight was incredible. Like, this was absolutely stupendous. I'm so glad this was made the main event, because it was just wonderful. MadCatter, credit to them, they enjoyed a lot, which in this case made the fight all the more exciting, just as because SawBlaze was going crazy. I would have given it 5 stars if they'd have managed to, like, once that top armor seemed to pop off of MadCatter, I think that was the top armor at least, I'd have loved to have seen that hammer saw come down just for an almighty KO. If that had happened, I'd have given it 5 stars, but this was still brilliant. And there you have it. That was another episode of Battlebots, but before we go, it's time to talk about the bot of the night. And come on, you know I've got to give it to SawBlaze. When it's in control, it manages to remain entertaining. There's no half-heartedness. It just goes full on, bullies the opponent. That weapon is so incredibly powerful. It's just such a fun robot to watch. I love watching SawBlaze each and every time because I'm almost guaranteed an incredible fight every time. That is another episode of Battlebots. I hope you all enjoyed this review. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. And let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section. I'll see you all next time with another episode of Battlebots. Bye guys!